K-A, last name Coleman, C-O-L-E-M-A-N. I'm the Vice President of Rochester for Justice.
Perfect. And you're saying longest meeting of all time?
The history of time, yes.
What do you think about the discussion that the school board members, the superintendents were having?
I think there was a lot of conversation about student responsibility and parent responsibility, and a whole lot of conversation about a handbook, and 2 sentences about anti-bias training for teachers. And otherwise, no conversation about the root cause of the problem. They have a lot of conversations about teaching the students that you care. Well, I think that's true. But if you're treating one set of students differently than you're treating another set of students, nothing you do is going to treat that second set of students is going to make them believe you care. Because they can see that you don't care. Kids aren't stupid. They can see exactly what you're doing. And it's not hard to figure out why.
I know when you addressed the board before, you had said, listen, we know that you're just going to go over these. What did she keep telling them?
The agreement?
Yeah, but the components. The components of this agreement, you knew that that's kind of what they were going to do, just go over what this OCA agreement was. Was there anything that was brought up that maybe pleasantly surprised you, or was it pretty much what you were expecting?
No, I read the entire agreement, because I don't think I'm qualified to speak on something unless I've read the whole thing. And at no point in that agreement have they admitted that the root cause of the problem is racism. As we all know, the first step in overcoming a problem is admitting there's a problem. We did, however, have one member of the school board admit on camera, several cameras, that they've known that this has been a problem for a decade. Why did it take 5 years in a federal investigation? Why are we here now? Why weren't we here 5 years ago? Or 10 years ago? How many children were harmed in that time? They're the school board. Their entire function is to protect children. They're clearly not doing their job.
And with a focus on the next generation.
Yeah.
Something that apparently was new tonight was those barriers, those 6 barriers that were brought up. Any reaction to that, or?
Again, a lot of those barriers don't have anything to do with the real problem. One of the barriers that was mentioned was biases among teachers. Great, let's talk about that. Because the bottom line of all referrals is who sends a child out of a classroom? Why do they send a child out of a classroom? And we have to acknowledge that we're not just having a conversation about the children who are harmed, we're having a conversation about the privileged kids who are learning that this is how the system works. Those kids become our landlords, that's redlining and housing equality. They become our employers, that's employment equality. They become doctors at Mayo. So our entire community, Mayo Clinic, Destination Medical Center, everything about Rochester is informed by this school district, which the federal government has made clear has a huge racial bias problem. We must do better for our community.
They talked a lot about this community meeting coming up here in March 15th, I think.
March 15th.
I guess your thoughts on that, do you think that they're moving in the right direction? Do you feel at all positive about what was said here tonight about a plan?
It's the beginning of one of the demands that we put forward being met. They're required to do 3 meetings. They've done thus far 0. March 15th will be 1 meeting. And from there, we can look at the rest of our demands and determine how best to implement them.
One of the demands that you presented to the school board was, acknowledging that there is a systemic racism in the school. Clearly, probably a school system, a district, is not going to come out and say, "You're right, we're racist." So,
it's a different sentence.
Okay.
We are is not what we're asking. Okay. What we do, the system, has this problem. It's not a personal thing. It's not people, it's the system. And it's already been determined by the federal government. This is factual. All we're saying is they need to state that fact.
And you think that's ground there, that's square one?
It's simple. It's not complicated. It's scary, but our job as a community and their job as a school board is to protect children, not their feelings. They must act to protect these children, and the first step in doing that is admitting the source of the problem.
That's interesting that you said how simple it is, because all we heard in there was how difficult and how challenging this is, but they're ready to face the challenge.
But they're not, because this is the first step in facing the challenge. Anyone who's been through a 12-step program, anyone who's watched a television show with a character involved in a 12-step program, anyone who's gone through school, the first step in overcoming a problem is